Partners of the U.S. Department of Commerce. We're proud to bring you a presentation today that is going to be kicked off by our colleague Stephanie Merchant. So I'll hand the microphone over to her and we'll take it from there. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Welcome and good morning, everyone. As Peter said, my name is Stephanie Merchant and I'm an international trade specialist at the Department of Commerce. I'm very pleased to welcome you all today to the U.S. Southeast Asia and Pacific Aviation Cooperation Program briefing. So just a little background about me for those that might not know me. I work on the industry and analysis aerospace team at the International Trade Administration back in Washington, D.C. My work in particular focuses on policy, analysis, export promotion, all to help U.S. companies export and level the playing field abroad. But one way we do this is through our work with interagency partners like the Federal Aviation Administration and the U.S. Trade and Development Agency on programs just like this one. The U.S. Southeast Asia ACP program is a unique engagement that bridges regulatory and promotion work to help U.S. aerospace companies engage our foreign partners. I'm excited to kick off today's event. In a moment, you'll hear from my government colleagues, the Civil Aviation Authority of Thailand, and from one of our member companies who's here today, MITRE. After, we'll have time for questions, and then we'll be available after the event to help you make introductions to member companies here at the show if you wish. And with that, I am pleased to hand it over to Alyssa Barden, who leads USTDA's engagement with the Southeast Asia and Pacific ACP program, and she will moderate today's event. Alyssa.
All right, thank you. Glad everyone made it here with the traffic. We do have one speaker still coming in traffic, so we might switch up our agenda a bit. But as noted, we have panelists Brenda Fike, the Regional Director at the U.S. Trade and Development Agency, Kun Kajanvat Mathan, the Deputy Director General for Safety at the Civil Aviation Authority of Thailand, and Dr. Juliana Go, the Director of International at MITRE's Center for Advanced Aviation Security Development. So I think we'll start with the USTDA presentation from Regional Director Fike.
Thank you, Alyssa. Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here and really want to thank our U.S. government colleagues from the Department of Commerce and FAA and all of our partners as part of the U.S. Southeast Asia Cooperation Program. If you're not a member of the Southeast Asia and Pacific Cooperation Program, I definitely encourage U.S. companies to talk to Alyssa, who is just here, who manages that portfolio for USTDA. So I'll begin our presentation. So I'll start just with a framing of who USTDA is. For those of you not familiar with the U.S. Trade and Development Agency, we do have a dual mission. So one is to support the infrastructure development goals of our partner countries here in the Asia-Pacific region as well as globally. And then we have a second mandate to connect those U.S. companies to infrastructure opportunities. And I'll talk a little bit about how we do that. We have supported over 700 projects here in the Indo-Pacific region in 28 different countries. We have offices who will be coming shortly. We have colleagues, an office in Thailand, in India, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Vietnam, and we just opened an office last week in the Philippines. All of these offices are based in the U.S. embassies where we have them. As a metric of our success, one way that we measure how effective USTDA is in connecting U.S. companies to our programs, for every $1 that we spend, we have seen $231 back in U.S. exports. So we are very proud of that metric in terms of helping U.S. companies create jobs and export opportunities in the overseas markets where we work. Again, the U.S. Southeast Asia and Pacific Aviation Cooperation Program is a partnership that USTDA has with FAA, with the Transportation Security Administration, with the Department of Transportation, and the Department of Commerce. We have 30 plus U.S. member companies, and again, there's no fee to join. It's only open for U.S. companies, and you do have some insider insight in terms of the information for upcoming aviation procurement activities in the Indo-Pacific region. So the way that USTDA undertakes our tools is we are focused on creating bankable projects that are going to attract the right financing to the region for quality infrastructure to be built. The primary way that we do that is through our feasibility studies, technical assistance, pilot projects, engineering and design, And this is all grant-based funding, so it is grants from the US government that helps to de-risk that for the US company undertaking these types of activities. We also host a number of partnership building activities, such as reverse trade missions, which is where we bring delegations to the United States to introduce them to a particular technology, as well as conferences. And we have a large conference coming up in May, the Indo-Pacific Business Forum in Manila on May 21st, as well as workshops in the region and training programs. Again, the focus of our tools is really to create that bankable project pipeline to de-risk that for US companies as well as for financial institutions. We are also very focused on leveling the playing field for US companies to ensure the optimal use of public and private sources and that value for money for our partners in the region. The key criteria that we look for from proposals are really threefold. So one, we do look for that positive development impact in the country. We also want to understand that there are financiers interested in the project. It doesn't have to be locked in, but we want to know that there's a good chance of financing for the project if we do the feasibility study work. And we also want to see that there's a strong US export potential for the projects. We work with US companies on a sole source basis. Often companies come to us and have the partner in place, and we partner with them and cost share the project. And then we also do competed models where we might be working with a civil aviation administration in the region that is very interested in working with a US company but doesn't have the partner chosen, and so we help them run a competitive process to bring on that US company. Our average grant size is from about $500,000 up to $1.52 million, really just depends on what is needed for the project. And we work with both the public and the private sector. So we do have a concept note model, and happy to share that with anyone who's interested in following the presentation today. Skip this for now, and a couple of these. So I'll maybe just touch briefly on what USTDA grants cannot do. So they cannot cover the cost of equipment, subscription services, or software licenses. That is usually done under the US company cost share for those projects. We also do not, these grants cannot be taxed. And then we do provide some local labor, so up to 30% of our grants can include local labor of the country that we're doing the work in. And we do not provide financing for project implementation. We also don't support manufacturing in the region. Those types of projects are really focused on creating US jobs and exports. Our grants also may not be used for non-commercial scale technologies or research and development technologies. And then we're also only working in the commercial space when it comes to aviation as opposed to anything in the military space. So I'll talk a little bit about our work in aviation through these categories and give some examples. So in airport infrastructure, this is a large part of USTDA's aviation portfolio. That can include airport feasibility and master planning, any type of modernization, runway expansion, airport expansion, engineering and design. And then we're doing more and more focus on cargo operations, including the security for cargo. For airport and airline operations, we do studies to support airline services and solutions, runway maintenance, equipment and vehicles, and then I've done quite a bit of work on emergency response equipment and vehicles as well. On airport security, we are focused on checkpoint design and modernization, passenger and baggage screening equipment and equipment deployments, as well as aviation security policy development. And air traffic control and airspace management is another sweet spot for us. We've done work on aviation weather systems to improve weather predictability, navigation equipment and systems, aircraft landing systems, any type of airspace design and utilization, as well as increasingly so in urban air mobility. In training, there's obviously limitless demands for training in the region. We have done some executive training programs in partnership with several US companies, really looking at the management and operations and trying to improve that capacity for airlines and airport operators. We've done training on aircraft and engines, general aviation, aviation management, air traffic flow management, avionics, and other IT-related activities. So just to give a couple of tangible examples, and I know we'll be hearing more from our colleagues from SEAP in a moment on the types of work that we're partnering with them on. But we have worked in Indonesia with the Director General of Civil Aviation to support flight safety and air navigation in eastern Indonesia. So this did help to increase their efficiencies. It diminished operational inconsistencies in the systems, reduced costs, and then it increased, obviously, aviation safety. This is a project I'm particularly fond of. We have worked in Vietnam extensively in the aviation sector and did provide a feasibility study to the Da Nang airport. And for those of you that have flown through it, know how beautiful it is. But it did lead to the construction of the new terminal at the Da Nang International Airport, which did increase the annual passenger capacity from 1.4 million to about 4 million passengers traveling through that. We've also done a lot in aircraft rescue and firefighting. So we did support the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines to utilize aircraft rescue and firefighting vehicles from Oshkosh Corporation that I'm sure many of you are familiar with. And that training then contributed to the safety and security of 27 airports across the Philippines where our crew were trained on Oshkosh's vehicles. Aviation safety is another example in Vietnam where we really worked with Vietnam for over a decade to help on aviation safety types of activities. Many different technical assistance activities led to this. And then, as many of you know, in 2019, Vietnam was awarded Category 1 status to fly directly to the United States, and we continue our partnership with CAB on that work as well. This is an example of our reverse trade missions. So we were delighted to host a delegation of 7 different countries to the United States to meet with government and industry partners to talk about aviation security. So we did partner with the TSA and their International Design Symposium that takes place on a yearly basis, and we're hopeful to do so again this year, to learn about best practices for airport checkpoint design. It really supported their country's efforts towards enhancing airport security, and that is in line with TSA requirements. This is also a new partner country for US TDA. We are supporting a feasibility study to develop a business plan for the airline in Timor-Leste. It's a fantastic project that's looking at connectivity between Timor-Leste and other Southeast Asian countries. So really excited about this project that is ongoing. So in terms of recent events that we've done, we've had a number of workshops, as you see here, in the Southeast Asia and Pacific region. I was just in Fiji last week for one of these workshops that was really focused on disaster and climate response for the aviation sector. We had several Pacific Island countries attend that conference. We've also done them on airport safety, drone delivery services, and staff. Likewise, for other reverse trade missions, we've hosted delegations recently from Thailand that we'll hear about in a moment, as well as from Vietnam, focused on aviation security. Our UAS, this is another great example of our workshop. We did a fantastic workshop with thanks to, again, our interagency partners, as well as the US companies in the drone sector to look at regulations and testing for detecting, tracking, and identifying technology through drones. So we are planning to host another workshop on expanding aviation data capabilities to improve air transportation. This will take place in early May in Bali, Indonesia. So we're hoping that's a big draw to bring you all there. If you're interested in attending, again, my colleague Alyssa is here, or myself, we're happy to provide more information to you on that event. I will note for all of our feasibility studies and technical assistance and pilot projects that USTDA does, we do have public versions of those reports that are available through our library. So those are accessible to any interested US company. So happy to provide more information if you are interested in a particular sector or country and to see what USTDA has done in the last 5 years. That is available to the public. I do again want to recognize, I see my colleague Kevin Tours, who runs our regional office out of Bangkok. He is here, and then we do have representation from Vietnam, as well as our Deputy Regional Manager from Bangkok, who will be here shortly. But again, encourage you all to reach out. We're a very small and friendly agency, so if you have an idea and are interested in anything on project preparation, happy to talk to you to see if there's a partnership that we can build there together. Thank you so much for your time, I appreciate it.
Great, thank you. So we'll now move to hear from one of our partners at the Civil Aviation Authority of Thailand. So Deputy Director General, the floor is yours.
Good morning, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Kachon Patbakri, Deputy Director General of Civil Aviation of Thailand. So, as a representative of a proud member of Southeast Asia and Pacific Island Aviation Community, Thailand is dedicated to cooperating at the state level to enhance safety standard and in our aviation ecosystem. Our commitment goes beyond borders, aiming to elevate our nation ICAO effective implementation EI score. So together, we contribute to safer, more and reliability global aviation network. So I just want to update what program that we have worked with USTDA. So in the recent year, our region has witnessed significant air travel growth, bringing both opportunities and challenges. As acknowledging aviation's crucial role in connecting nations and driving economic development, Thailand actively strengthens partnership with international stakeholders to elevate operational efficiency and safety standards. To achieve this, Thailand seeks experts to support from the USTDA through the Aviation Cooperation Program ACP. Thailand focused on forming aviation airport master plan and air navigation service capacity. So for the airport master plan technical assistance, CAT adopted the ICAO Annex 14 for airport financial feasibility study requirement for airport operation in a satisfying aviation demand, mandating public airport to develop master plan. Recognizing a need for enhancing understanding, Thailand needs a technical assistance to train personnel and develop comprehensive master plan. Cooperation in both drafting and MOU with USTDA. For the air navigation service capacity, so we have to strengthen air navigation system assessment aligned with the National Airspace and Air Navigation Master Plan. So Thailand needs a technical assistance to work with this kind of program. The primary focus is on establishing an air navigation performance assessment and monitoring system to measuring performance against ICAO KPI in terms of the global air navigation plan. So in pursuing of this objective, CAT team representing relevant aviation sector with a focus on airspace, air navigation and airport management participate in a site visit during the Thailand Aviation Ecosystem Reverse Trading Mission RTM hosted by USTDA in September last year, visiting US solution and best practices in the aviation sector located in 3 different cities in USA. For a smooth collaboration, the mission aims to provide an overview of Thailand aviation ecosystem, including CAT representative and key stakeholders to the U.S. agency. The topics cover airspace and air navigation, airport system, and airport master planning, airport management, and operation, among others. So I wish to express our sincere appreciation to organizations that warmly welcome and support our team during the site visit in Washington, D.C., San Francisco, and Los Angeles. Special thanks to FAA, Business Briefing, Airport Council International, Association for Uncrewed Vehicle System International, Air Traffic Control Association, and various other entities for sharing value and knowledge and insights. In conclusion, I extend our gratitude to USTDA for its close cooperation and generous support for CA Thailand. This mission facilitates invaluable learning and experiences, providing clarity for CAT representatives on solutions for airport airspace management. So Thailand looking forward to growing collaboration and progress with the goal of not only ensuring the seamless flow of air traffic, but also enhancing the safety standard that form the foundation of entire aviation industry. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. So we've now heard from the grantee perspective, and I'd like to invite Dr. Go from MITRE to speak about from the U.S. company perspective.
I'm Dr. Juliana Gill, and from the MITRE Corporation. I don't have any slides, but I'll make a few remarks about how a member organization of the ACP has benefited from being part of the ACP. So as some of you might know, the MITRE Corporation runs federally funded research development centers for the United States government, one of which is the Federal Aviation Administration, and I see India over there. So through our partnership with the FAA, we developed a lot of US technologies, capabilities, and expertise that we bring internationally. And one mechanism by which we do that is through the ACP. The benefits are several-fold, I'll say. One, obviously, directly, the technical assistance has allowed us to work with quite a few international governments that I would say we might not have been able to do so. So we've done work with Vietnam, and we continue to do that, and then we're exploring other opportunities with other countries within the region. Aside from the technical assistance, I would say that Virendra kind of touched on the RTMs, the reverse trade missions, and the workshops. I cannot emphasize enough how important that is and how valuable that is to US companies. In the reverse trade missions, they bring the delegations over to the United States. And so if you think about it, it's an entire delegation. You get to meet all of them at one time. They provide a very good overview of the developments in the country, the needs of the country, and you can very quickly identify the opportunities for yourselves. And some of us have had the benefit of hosting them at our company. So MITRE has hosted delegations at our facilities to show them the capabilities and the expertise that we can bring to the table. And then there are the workshops. They mentioned the US workshop and the upcoming one, the data workshop. It's an opportunity again for us to go to host countries to talk about what we can do for them. Networking opportunities abound at these events because they tend to be regional, even though it's at a specific country, participation is regional. So for those for the companies that haven't participated in ACP, I'll tell you from a member country perspective, it's been very useful. And I'm happy to take any questions about our experience working with the USTDA and the international governments through this program.
Thank you. With that, are there any questions from the audience about any of the presentations this morning? Okay, I'll answer a question. How would you sign up for the ACP if you are not a member yet? You email me, so get my business card, and we'll talk. You just need to confirm you are a U.S. firm and you are okay with being listed on the website. And with that, I think to wrap up this presentation, we'd like to invite India Pinkley, the Executive Director for International Affairs at the FAA.
Good morning, everyone. It is truly a pleasure to speak to you today at the Southeast U.S. Asia and Pacific Aviation Cooperation Program on behalf of the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration. Thank you to the Department of Commerce for this invitation to speak and to Singapore for hosting this air show. My office, the Office of International Affairs, strives to make international aviation safer, greener, and more efficient. The Southeast Asia and Pacific ACP remains one of the more constructive venues to help attain these goals. The ACP is quite an important vehicle to share best practices and critical information in the region that will enable us to foster safer and dynamic aviation growth throughout the world while also making it environmentally friendly. Today, I'll touch briefly on recent activities from the region that have furthered our efforts in safety, efficiency, as well as sustainability. During the past year, the FAA has engaged in a number of ACP activities, including most recently, a workshop in Fiji that focused on national disaster response and climate adaptation and resilience was held just over a week ago. Natural disasters can cause disruptions and damage to aviation, particularly to airports where operations, safety, and resilience can be impacted. Our workshop provided best practices and strategies to help airports and aviation authorities build their resilience. At this workshop, we had representatives from the FAA that discussed our role during a natural disaster response, as well as available tools such as airport emergency plans and airport status reporting vehicles. We also highlighted the FAA's role in preparing all U.S. airports in response to climate changes and resilience, as well as an actual airport resilience analytical framework. In looking forward, we're excited about an upcoming workshop in Indonesia on managing aviation data that will touch more closely on the efficiency aspect. This workshop will focus on aviation data in an air navigation services context, where we will explore how to use that data in order to improve air navigation services, airport management, as well as airline operations. This will be a regional workshop with plans to invite CAAs, airport operators, ANSPs, and airlines from throughout the region. U.S. firms will present on best practices and solutions for air navigation and airports. So we're very excited to continue our cooperation under the ACP and support events such as these. While not directly under the ACP, but in a similar spirit of public-private partnerships, the FAA also recently collaborated with the ICAO APAC office, Thailand, as well as Boeing, to sponsor ICAO government inspector training courses. Under this effort, the FAA is sponsoring high potential inspectors to enhance aviation safety inspector competencies in 3 areas: airworthiness, air operations, and personnel licensing. By supporting this effort, we're not only training safety inspectors, but we're also building capacity, sustaining regulatory oversight competencies, and developing more qualified inspectors for the future. We're encouraged by the initial feedback and are optimistic that this will contribute to the region's growing and increased capacity well into 2024 and beyond. In 2024 specifically, we have 2 additional GSI courses for the Southeast Asia region, and we hope those will be successful as well. This effort is very closely aligned with regional safety priorities as defined by the region through the ICAO rubric. I would really like to encourage consideration for similar programs such as this under the ACP, where we can continue to use these public-private frameworks to deliver real, positive, and forward-thinking change throughout the region. To conclude, I would really like to reaffirm our shared commitment of making the world safer, greener, and more efficient through collaborating with our partners in the U.S. Southeast Asia and Pacific ACP to engage in technical, policy, and commercial cooperation. Our participation is just one demonstration of this commitment and how much we truly value our collaboration in the region. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. That concludes the briefing. As noted, if you have any questions or would like introductions to the ACP member companies, please see myself or Stephanie, but thank you all this morning. Yes, a question, sorry.
Question. I like this question you brought out. How do U.S. companies join the ACP? Perhaps for a few of us here that are not U.S. companies that are in the region, how can we reach out to you, ensuring that we're a willing, interested participant in the program within the region?
Certainly. So I cover our Indo-Pacific aviation programming, so please feel free to speak to me if you're interested in the grant programs. As noted, we partner with entities, so CAT is a grantee on 2 particular projects, and it all starts with a conversation about a particular idea. We have a concept note outlining the criteria we're looking for, and then it would go into review. So we're happy to discuss with you. For the grantee partners in the region, you can either come to us, you know the U.S. firm you'd like to carry out the activity, or independently, you don't know if you'd still like USDA help. So I'm happy to answer further questions on that. Great, well thank you all so much. Have a great day.
I don't know how much time our panelists have in the pavilion here, but I would certainly encourage you to come and swap some business cards and have some private discussions if you can stay. Also, for any of you that are just visiting the pavilion, please do note that we have a number of civilian companies out in the hall here, amongst 105 companies that are part of the USA Partnership Pavilion. And standing behind me is a resource that we have called Source Here, which is the online directory of all the US companies not only participating in the Singapore Airshow, but in many of the shows that we run all over the world. And you can search for those companies using any criteria that you wish. And then you can, if they're here in Singapore, you can print out or view a map of where they're located in the pavilion. So I encourage you to use this resource and make some good connections while you're here at the Singapore Airshow. So, and again, thank you to our panelists for the great conversation today.